Welcome to another episode of the Hustle and Grind Podcast.
I am Monique. They call me Mo Hustle.
They call me the Grind Guy.
I be up early in the morning.
You wake up like, God, why?
Gotta do to get this money,
We are the non-traditional couple.
You okay?
The Hustle and the Grind.
The Hustle and Grind Podcast. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Hustle and Grind Podcast. My name is John Stafford, a.k.a. the Grind Guy.
And I am Monique, a.k.a. Mo Hustle. And our podcast is all about entrepreneurship, guys. So we talk about exactly what it is, the hustle and the grind. Yeah. It takes hustle, grind, determination, focus, drive, self-motivation, positivity, people around you that are like-minded, and the list goes on and on. So today, guys, we are so excited. I'm so excited to have somebody that's just like super, super, super special. When you talk about like a positive energy, a positive spirit, uplifting, motivating, and just always going to give you that word that you need to hear when you see her. And you guys probably seen her on tour with Sarah Jakes Roberts, probably seen her on the BW Network. If you guys don't know about it, we'll definitely jump into it. But none other, we got Kayla Wanakee.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome.
What's up?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm excited to
All
be
right.
here.
So, Kayla, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, just a little intro. And yeah, let the people know who you are.
All right. Well, I'm Kayla Wanakee. Like Mo said, I travel. I'm the MC and host for Woman Evolve with Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. I also have a talk show called The Undoing that is on the Black Women's Network. I'm an advocate. I'm very passionate about youth and special needs community, women empowerment, all the things. So yeah,
List goes on and on.
Hey, man, listen. That's a huge little, thing you got going on. Let's talk about, let's dive deep in right away.
Let's go for it.
So we talked about who is Kayla, but how did Kayla get to where she is today?
Oh, wow. That's good. You know what? For me, it was never anything that I necessarily pursued. Things that I pursued they weren't quite aligned with where God was taking me. So he opened up doors for me. So I talked about being a youth advocate. I was an educator for 14 years. However, I didn't go to college for education.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Whoa. You can't, let's not just run right over that.
Yeah.
You cannot just run over that. 14 years
Yes.
with no college education.
Well, I did go to college, but
Okay.
I did not go for
Okay,
education.
Oh,
right.
without, okay.
So
my
I
bad.
kind of
Okay.
fell into it. That's like my life's journey. I
Okay.
kind of fall
Fall
into
into
things.
things. Okay.
So when it came to education, I did substitute teaching.
Okay.
My senior year in college, just for a little bread on the side, because they paid better than Sam's Club or Foot Action. So I had no interest in education whatsoever. I actually went to school for communication technology, theater arts, things like that. So that's where I was kind of going. And so, I was a substitute teacher, and I was supposed to be doing it for 2 weeks, and it turned into 14 years. Like literally, like they hired me in without having a certification. Then I ended up, going to school to get my certification and things like that. But I found a passion for it. I was really good at it when it came to special needs in particular. I've always had a heart of like social justice and like just making sure that people they have a voice, the voiceless have a voice. And so I found my niche there. And so that was one way. When it came to hosting, same thing. I was not doing anything in the church, okay? No women's ministry over here, okay? Not doing the announcements, like none of those type of things. Like I danced at church because I'm a dancer.
Okay.
And then I was just being Kayla. People know me. I'm like a girl's girl.
So let's go back. So
Okay.
We're from the same hometown.
Yes.
So we're from Flint, Michigan.
Yes.
And I remember Kayla during the high school years. You're a little bit younger than me, but dancing. Yeah. So Kayla was known as a dancer. Okay. So when it came to the group of people or kids, I'll say, now that we're grown, but you just had a crew of people that were just like really, really dope dancers. So when it came to performing, like Kayla was the dancer, the performer. So seeing her evolve into what she's become and just grow into who she's grown to become. One of the dopest things that I think is so dope is that she and her husband have a son.
Yeah.
And he dances.
Well,
does he still dance?
He does not anymore. That was another God thing. So like Mo said, my son, when he was like 4 years old, he used to watch So You Think You Can Dance because I was really into dance. He watched it too. And he was like, I want to do that. But he wanted to do like what they call animation dance. So it's like the popping, locking and stuff. And so instead of watching Sesame Street, he used to come home and watch YouTube. Straight up, y'all. Like he would be like, turn on YouTube and go through the videos and like practice the dances and all of that. And so me and my husband, we took him to watch So You Think You Can Dance when they came to Austin. Oh, wow. And he ended up on the show, and he had a 7-minute segment, and that led to him being on Ellen and America's Got Talent and all of the Dancing with the Stars, like just all the things. And he got signed when we were still living in Texas. And so we had to make a decision, like, what are we gonna do? He said he wanted to do this thing. He's paving a way for it. So we moved to LA with like no jobs or no place to stay with 2 kids.
Hold on.
Perfect.
Yeah, but we had a lot of friends and things like that in LA.
Nope. Stop trying to run over this stuff, Kayla.
Yeah.
Moving to LA with what?
No job and
2
no
kids?
place to stay. And 2 kids, 2 and 4 at the time. Like a leap of God for sure.
But what was the reason what drove you guys to LA?
It was AJ. It was the fact that he had a dream, and I was a child that had a dream as well. My parents weren't as nurturing of it because they're like, how can you have longevity? How can you have success as a dancer long term? And so I was there to nurture that when it came to that because I believed in it. And so we just took a shot. We just believed in God. And as soon as we got there, it's so funny because when we got there, we was like, what are we doing? Like, we ain't got no place to stay. We ain't got no jobs, bro. Like, we in LA. Like, we ain't in
mad
like,
expensive.
Texas.
Man,
mad
what?
expensive.
What?
And so we took him, I'll never forget, we took him to his first cattle call. And it was for a commercial. And a cattle call, if you know anything about it, it's like hundreds of people for like 1 or 2 spots, right? And so we get out there and we see all these ambiguous, beautiful children, and we're like, whoa. And then we see like they got like real training, and I just got my baby that just want to be on TV. And so we take them in like, it's all right, baby. You know, you got the anointing. It's okay. You know, if you don't get this thing, because it's going, what's for you is for you. And he booked. Wow. He booked his very first cattle call, and I was like, okay, God, like, you telling us something.
That's what's up.
And he really was. It wasn't just for him. It ended up being for all of us.
So I'm going to tell you, like, one of the things about John and I when it comes to, like, what we do every day, you know, just as entrepreneurs, hustling and grinding, people don't understand the decisions that you make, the risks that you take. Yeah. And when you talk about taking a family, small children, and moving to LA, that's something that people can't fathom.
Right.
So, you know, like, how did you handle all the naysayers?
Oh my gosh, that's all we had. That's all we had was naysayers.
I know.
The whole time.
Know.
Like, we literally had to just turn on our blinders. And I believe that's what really grew my relationship with God. Like, oftentimes you find out, like, people grow their relationship with God in times of strife or, you know, times of uncertainty. And so when we went out there, you know, we really moved in faith and watching God like come through. He knew that we were like on edge because our parents were like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, this is crazy. Like, we not even gonna help y'all because this don't make no sense.
Oh, no, that's what...
Like, and mind you, like, we both had nice jobs in Texas. Like, we were doing well down there, and we just up and left everything. And so it was a move of God. Like, my son, like I said, he went there for dance, but then he ended up getting into acting as soon as we got there, and he just started booking one after another after another. Tony, my husband, he started working in production, and so we just started making a way for ourselves. So we had to literally turn on the blinders and focus only on us and God through that whole process, because
that's what it's about.
It's hard. It is, especially when people are challenging you and you see what's in the natural and it doesn't make sense. But you just have to trust and believe that if I'm being guided here, then it must be something for me on the other side of it.
You just running across this stuff like, you know, all the answers are great answers.
So check this out. So you go from literally like working, right? You go to college, you graduate, you get a job, you have a family, you're doing all of the traditional things.
Correct.
And then you move to LA with 2 small children and your husband. But then now you just start going after your dreams. So now we're talking about you hosting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have your own talk show.
I do.
What's your talk show, Kayla?
I do. So my talk show is called The Undoing, and it kind of stemmed from me going through my own personal undoing. I had a come to Jesus moment where I realized, like, I didn't know who I really was outside of, like, the titles and the roles and the things that people attach to you. I was a wife, I was a mom, I was a teacher, I was all of those things. But who was I really at my core? And so I started going through that personal journey on my own, and I was intrigued by wanting to know other people at their core. So on The Undoing, I talk to people that are known for their profession. They're very successful, mostly in the entertainment industry, and I talk to them about who they really are, like at their core, aside from the accolades. So I'll talk about everything except what you know them
Y'all
for.
should be making people cry.
No, because when you dig deep, that's what it's about.
That's
The surface,
right.
what's on the surface, what it looks like underneath. Because above, everybody looks like somebody on
Absolutely.
the outskirts, right?
Absolutely.
But when you dig deep, you really find out who people really are.
Right.
The things that they can't cover up. When you start asking certain questions,
Yep.
it may come out. Somebody might, you start talking to me, I might start crying right now.
Like straight up
Hey,
though,
hey,
but like
hey,
listen,
hey.
but that's how it happened for me, because what it was okay. So you know how we do like positive affirmations, right? Like you look in the mirror and you're
Right.
like, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful. So when I was doing this stuff, like I thought I was a confident person. Like I didn't think that there was any like voice. I thought I knew who I was. So I was like, let me try these little positive affirmations.
Yes.
So I stood in the mirror, y'all, and I looked at myself like in my eyes, like really into my soul, and I bust out crying. Like I wasn't even able to say the very first line. And it was because at that time I realized like I had only looked at the aesthetics. Like when you look in the mirror, it's like, is my hair together? Is my makeup together? Is my clothes together? But I never took the time to like really look into my
within.
soul, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really what it is. Like oftentimes we're attached to these labels and these roles and these expectations that life puts on us, and that's how we establish who we really are. But there's a core that's much deeper inside of each and every one of us. It's just, are you willing to challenge yourself to actually dig that deep?
I just had this conversation, like literally on the way here. I just had the conversation about, on social media. We always portray all the positive things, all the fun things, all the wins, all the successes. But, if you're having a moment or a day and you post that, people are going to be like, well, what's wrong with you? Or why are you posting negative or this and that? But that's real.
It is
And what
real.
people don't understand about us as entrepreneurs is that, you think it's cool to work for yourself, or, you don't have to ask for a day off and all these things, but we struggle. I can say I know I've been recently like really finding and doing a lot of, and I'm in the process of literally, I think I'm finding myself right now. And as we go into these different phases of life, we start uncovering these new layers that we don't know. And you become uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But what does uncomfortability do? What does that bring out?
It brings out the beast in you.
The best in you, exactly.
beast.
The beast, the best.
The best
But
beast,
it brings like the best beast
Yeah.
in you. So I feel like everybody needs to be uncomfortable, because when we're comfortable, we're not our best self. We're not even trying to do
Right.
our best self. You know what I'm saying? Like when you comfortable, it's like, all right, so I got 8 hours in a day. Some people that may work for themselves or just have businesses going, they're not even trying to, take their business to the next level. It's just comfortability.
Yeah.
I got this store or I got this business, and I know what it brings in every month. I don't want to grow. It's just,
Right.
this is what I want right now.
Complacent. Yeah.
Complacent. There's no growth.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you right now? That's growth.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. So when you found yourself, how did that happen with being that you're married with a spouse? Like, as because you might, like when you're in a marriage, it's a union, it's a bond.
Absolutely.
So it might switch up a little bit when you find yourself, because you're doing things differently now. You're always happy now. There's no in between. So how did that transpire?
You know what? It's a constant evolution. Like just us as people, like we're constantly going to meet new versions of ourselves as we evolve through life and through different experiences. And so with the mate, for me, it was a challenge at first. He's used to me being a certain type of way. But I think because I am a part of Woman Evolve, and he's able to hear like the different words prayers and the things that we talk about in the movement of just becoming who we really are, he understood that he would be meeting other versions of me as we continue on throughout our marriage. And it's definitely been challenging at times, you know, but once again, like just trusting in God, like who I'm becoming is becoming a better person overall. Although I may have boundaries that I didn't have before, that's for the betterment of me as well as you. Because if you have so much control in certain areas, then you never were able to meet the authentic, real version of me. Right. And so I think the more that I evolved, it challenged him to do the same. He started digging deeper and started realizing like more about himself throughout the whole process.
So let's talk about Woman Evolve.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you, okay, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, because when you think about just all of the things that were just that were starting to just come your way, and I don't want to say fall in your lap, but as the blessings started to just overflow and fall in your lap, how did you get positioned to actually get involved with Woman Evolve and actually be the host of this tour? Yeah,
so once again, it's a God thing. Like I said, I was not in any type of ministry whatsoever, and I'm trying to tell you, don't quote the scriptures, don't speak in tongues, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't sing in the choir, sis. I can't do none of that for you. And so when Sarah approached me about being the host for the tour, and it actually was her first conference, her very first Woman Evolve conference in Denver. It was 4,000 women, and she asked me to be the host, and I'm like, sis, are you sure? Like, bro, I haven't talked to more than like 30, 50 at best, and you know, being a teacher, and I'm like, I've never done anything like that in my entire life. And she was like, that's why I chose you. Like, I chose you because of just who you authentically are, because that resonates with people. It really does. And even when you were talking about social media, and being an entrepreneur and like not wanting to share like your down days because of what people might think or say, I challenge you to do it, because what has grown my entire brand is me being authentically who I am. If you go to my social media, it's some happy days, but most of the time I'm talking about the uncomfortability of being a woman and growing and evolving, and so many women can relate to that because they want to keep it on the inside or just keep it, you know, like, oh, this is my personal journey. Or it's the thoughts in our head. That's nothing but the enemy that's telling you that people are going to judge you, or people are going to say this or that, because you're not overall a negative person. But to know that Mo Hustle, as successful as she is and all of the accomplishments that she's doing, has her days as well, allows another entrepreneur that might decide to give up and go back to the complacency of corporate, be like, well, she going through it too. So I'm not by myself. And that's what I noticed even through Woman Evolve. That's why I think it's been such a massive movement, is because so many women are able to see themselves, because Sarah doesn't talk about all of the highs. She talks a lot about the lows. You know, she's had a very hard life. Like, you would think like, oh, she's Bishop TDJ's daughter, but she had a baby at 13. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got married, she got divorced, she worked in a strip club. Like, there were so many things, and women are like, what? And she still is able to operate in this anointing. So I'm noticing that, like, maybe back in the day, we were supposed to be these type of women and have this facade, but what's resonating with women and people just in general is true authenticity. You know, one of the things that I've realized is, like, no matter how you've grown up or whatever your background may be, you have to go through something to get to something. Everybody. And no matter what, it's like when you go through something and you get to it, it just makes a lot of things a lot more clear. So even for you, Kayla, like you were saying, like, you can literally, every time I'm in your presence, you leave me with something so special, as far as whatever words you say or small conversation is meaningful and it's long lasting. So for someone to know that we can have that one-on-one, they know that you can reach masses. You know, so when you talk about the first tour being the first one, 4,000 people. That was what's the largest crowd that you guys have had? The largest crowd we've had thus far is close to 10,000.
Wow.
Yeah, one time. And for y'all, okay, so let's just talk about it because I'm not Sarah. You got to know all 10,000 of those women that came are there to see her specifically. And I have to go out and do a 20 to sometime 40-minute set of entertaining and engaging and encouraging these women that are
You're
like,
good at
who
that,
are
Kayla.
you? Who are you?
It's easy for you.
But
Yeah,
see,
that's natural. I really don't know Kayla like that. Wanakee, right? But since I've been around you, I can tell that when you're around people, that it's just in you. It's just like natural. You're not forcing it. You see what I'm saying?
Man, well, you know what? You're right. Once I get on stage,
Okay.
but before
You
it happens,
you weren't on stage when we met. You was right.
You're right. You're right. I mean, yeah, in time, in regular conversation,
Right.
absolutely. Like, that's just who I am. I'm very comfortable being who I am. But when you're in front of not only 10,000 people that aren't here to see you, but they're also people that are affiliated with the church. And I don't fit the church mold, like what you would think. Like I said, I don't quote the scriptures. I don't speak in tongues. I don't do all those things. However, God lives within me. And through this time of being on tour, like I've been doing it since 2018. So now that I sit here in 2023, I understand that my gift and my
5
calling,
years.
right? Thank you. But I'm realizing that my gift and my calling is in my authenticity and my willingness to be real. Because that's the girl that's there that doesn't feel like they belong.
Right.
And it's hard for you to allow them to experience this relationship with God when they already feel like they're not qualified to be there. So now I do operate in this confidence of knowing that with whatever I need for the room, God is going to give it to me.
And you do fit it. You do fit the description because it's women out there that are there to change their life.
Yeah.
So you fit the description of what they need to be looking at coming out.
Absolutely.
Because it's natural. It's okay, so this is who we're coming to see Sarah.
Yeah.
But we got Kayla right now.
Yeah.
And Kayla's warming us up to Sarah.
Yeah.
So some of the people that's in the crowd might not be churchy.
Most of them. That's what I end up finding out, and that's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing that I am able to touch them, and they do feel like they belong. And that's why, when she said, that's exactly why I'm picking you.
You were meant for the
But
position.
it's like we have so many different types of vessels.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like, who's considered to be a prophet or, like what's the true definition of someone that's quote unquote churchy, right?
Right.
Or say that you don't fit the description, because I think we all do.
We all do.
We all touch
in
people.
our own way.
We all touch people in our own ways. We all
Absolutely.
motivate. And when you have someone that comes up to you and says, you don't know how much you've inspired me. Like when I have that happen, when that's happened to me, and I'm like, I don't know this person. They literally know me from social media. Like, that's when you know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm still growing.
Yeah.
But one of the people that I think about a lot is DMX. Right? He had his struggles.
Yes.
But he was one of the deepest souls, one of the purest
What?
souls.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And, like he loved God.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the true move of God, is when you see it happen in that way. But when you make it more religious, let's be real about the church culture. Because if you go right now, they're going to give you a sheet to put over your legs, right?
Yep.
Because your skirt over your shorts is too short. Like, no, for real. And like, for real, because people know me from the faith sector, I've had people make me change my clothes. Like, I'm showing up to be the host for this event, and they're like, it's only one arm. Can you put on something else? Like, that really does still happen. And so I'm glad that God is able to show up and live through me, and I don't have to conform to the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. What does that feel like, preparing to speak in front of 10,000 women? And you got on what you got on.
Yeah.
And you get there. You done prayed. You done got your mind together. You're ready for your set.
Yeah.
And someone comes and says, "You got one shoulder out. I need you to cover that up." How does that work in Kayla's mind? Like, what was the thought process? The first thought process. This is a podcast.
Right.
We're gonna talk about the feeling.
Right. Absolutely.
We want to know, what was that first feeling? The flint.
Right. Like,
The
you
flint
got
side.
me messed up.
Right.
No, but you know what? Immediately, my first thought for real is I feel sad. I feel sad for them. I feel sad that the true me isn't enough and you feel like I have to conform in order to fit the room.
Right.
So immediately that's the first thought. But then also I know it's an attack from the enemy because as soon as that happens, then I start to get in my head and I'm like, oh shoot. So if my arm is too much, then me coming out like, that's gonna be too much, you know? And so immediately I know it's an attack from the enemy, so I start to go into prayer and I have to like talk to that thing like, get out of here. I'm qualified. That's why I was brought into the room. It's a reason why I got this opportunity because I'm about to change some minds. Like whatever that is, like I literally have to talk to that thing. In
so
order
you went
for
out
me
there
to
with your
show
one
up.
arm and you was like.
So the situation was, this was a paid gig and sis did have some other outfits.
Right.
So I did change my outfit because this was getting the check, hustle and grind.
There you go.
Hustle and grind.
Don't mess up the check. Don't mess up the check.
To mess up the check. However, I still was out there and I was authentically who I am. Like you can't change my personality.
But did that kick something else? Like did that spark another fire? Like, all right, sis, I'm gonna change, but I'm about to come in really.
Absolutely, 101%. Like I'm absolutely not changing that. Like you're not about to get me out here to be nobody different than who I was called to be.
Absolutely.
And I know it's gonna be just as impactful, you know. And at the end of it, they like, okay, we want to have you for the next thing, you know.
Like, I was just gonna say what happened after. Like what was the outcome?
That part, yeah.
Come on back.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, that's something that the church is still working on. You know, unfortunately. And that's why I know why God paired me with the Woman Evolve movement in itself because, you know, we all go against norms. Like the way Sarah dressed, the way I dress, the way the audience dressed, the way that we do ministry as a whole is unconventional because I believe that that's the way that the move is happening. That's why God is able to have
we live
such
in
an
unconventional
impact.
times now. So it's just like a lot of the older generations, you know, it's hard for them to accept and even understand because they're disconnected. You know what I mean? But
from the root, disconnected from the root, because you might conform to the rules and you might have the religious tactics, but who you show up as on a day-to-day basis is not impactful. That you sitting over here like I can quote all my scriptures, but you ain't even talking to sis over there or being nice or smiling or doing any of those things. You just can stand on the fact that I know the word and
but
God knows me, but that's
not enough.
True.
But that's not enough.
It's not.
We're talking about the people, the girl in the back that is going through a real struggle.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The woman, the young lady that has kids and single parent, those things.
Yep.
So those are the women that need to be reached out to more versus some of the other people.
Because guess what? That gives them so much hope to feel like, you know what? I can overcome my situation. I will overcome my situation. Like they're going to go and speak the words that they need to speak to themselves just because they had that example. And that's what people don't. And that's where I feel like, you know, a lot of the disconnect is as well because people feel like, oh, I don't want to go to church because I'm going to be judged or, you know, all these outside factors that take you away from why you're supposed to be there in the first place. So, but it's like moments like these, we fill each other with so much, right? So it's just like I can get more in a conversation that's going to have my soul just fueled and fired up and ready to go out and hustle and grind my butt off. And you know what I mean? But it's serious because like today I told you guys, today wasn't a good day for me. It wasn't. And John said, well, maybe we should have rescheduled today. I was like, no, I need to be around this energy because like, it's going to be okay. It was just one of those days. And I was ready to get here. I was ready to get away from, you know, everything, but that's the real deal, guys. So when you guys are out here pursuing whatever it is that you pursue, you got to embrace my slogan line is embrace the grind, love the hustle, because you have to embrace everything that you go through and you got to love it. So
it's all working together. Every single encounter that you're going through, even having the hard days and still pushing through, shows you that you're able to push through hard days.
Adversity.
Like every adversity is added to who you really are. No, it really is.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's the true move of God. Like even with Jesus, all of the disciples, he didn't go and choose the religious people that were doing the rules. He was the total opposite.
Go ahead and quote that Bible, girl. Go ahead and quote that Bible.
And I can't. All I can do is just tell you about the stories, okay? I'm not gonna be able to tell you where you can find it, but it's in there, okay?
Right.
And I know it to be true.
Right.
But seriously, that's what's really more impactful. You can get so much further with love than you can through judgment. And I think like me and my husband talk about it all the time. In 2020, when the world shut down, that didn't allow us to go into the institution of church, but it really allowed us to develop the relationship. And that's what it's really grounded in. It's in your individual relationship with God, so that he can speak to you and make the impact in the world that he designs just for you, because he has a plan just for John and just for Mo. And it might not come from the church. It's a direct conversation with him, and in the stillness is when you get it. That's when you get the real downloads. It's not just being fed by some other pastor or looking at that pastor to be your guide, because that's not what they're here for at all. They can steward because they might have a word that might be able to pour into you, but at the end of the day, it's really about your individual relationship.
That's right. Yo, that was deep.
Where the drums at?
We need the choir to come in with a song real quick. But that's super. Like, thank you. I needed all of that. I needed all of that. So Kayla, tell everybody about what you have coming up. What do you have coming up? Where can they find you?
Yes.
Your website, everything.
Yeah, so, The Undoing Season 2 should be out at the end of the year towards September. And
where can they tune into The Undoing?
So The Undoing is currently on the Black Women's Network.
Okay.
Sis is out here hustling and grinding. So hopefully you'll find it on other platforms as well in the fall, because we are looking to expand, get more sponsorship, things like that. Really, it's my whole brand. My brand is Undo Be You, because that's all that I'm focused on. And I think that that's what each and every one of us should be focused on, so that we can truly make the impact. I got you, boo. Okay. It's
hold on. Where can the viewers get one of those shirts from?
Okay, listen, on my website, you can definitely go to my website, which is KaylaWanakee.com. On there, you will find all of my merch. You will find different clips from The Undoing. You can also book me, okay? Sis does events. Sis does red carpets.
Okay.
Sis does even personal events, okay? Let me come in and transform your day and make you feel like a star for the day, okay?
There you go.
So you could definitely find that all on KaylaWanakee.com. I'm just excited. It's something I was telling my husband, because we live in a world where it's like, if I do this, then I'll get this, right? And in this season, I've been the most still, and I've had the most opportunities.
Of course.
Like, it's really allowed me to see who's really in control. Like, in my stillness and in my time, like, I'm really finding like wisdom in him. I'm finding like, just who I really am, so that as these opportunities are coming, I'm able to truly sustain it and able to really maximize on it. And I'm always going to bring my excellence to the table. This has been an amazing season. So I have more speaking engagements coming up this year. Really excited about it. The Woman Evolve Conference. We are doing our biggest conference ever, September 14th through the 16th in Dallas. It will be 40,000 women at Globe Life.
That's major. That's what's up. Yay.
It's major, and I'm so excited. Like, it literally fuels me now.
Yes.
Before, I used to be like, how many?
You ready?
But now, like, because I realize, Mo, for real, like, the Holy Spirit that's within us, that's what's really showing up for us constantly. It's like, even though we know you as Mo Hustle, how many people tell you how you inspire them or how you speak into their life? Like, it's that Holy Spirit that's showing up in you. It's not even just your works. It's who you really are at your core that is working on your behalf.
Facts.
And so I'm excited because I already know.
I'm going to Dallas September 14th through the 16th.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm there. Pre-early birthday. I need all of that in me. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So, Kayla, all right, this is the segment of our show where we do a little something where we want you to tell us, what does the hustle mean to you?
The hustle means using every single gift that God has given me. Every single area of my life that he has gifted me in, whether that is hosting, whether that's dancing, whether that's teaching, whether that's just empowering, the hustle is maximizing on every single gift that he's given me.
Man, that was deep. All right. So what does the grind mean to you?
Utilizing each of those gifts regardless of ego and pride. So, for instance, I used to be a teacher and I walked away from being a teacher and decided to be a host. And oftentimes people want to box you in or make you look at it like if you go and you teach again, then you going backwards, sis.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
ma'am.
right.
No, ma'am. The grind told me I got a gift over here, so I'm
There
about to
you
go
go.
over here and I'm going to be teaching today, okay?
That's
you
right.
got a dance gig over there? Cool. I'm about to
Right.
be dancing over
Right.
there.
Get
your
All of
hustle
it.
on,
Are we
sis.
hustling?
All of it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm doing that too.
There we go.
Like whatever it is, like I'm gonna maximize on
we
it.
go.
So the grind is making sure that I utilize all of them, regardless of what anybody in this world has to say about it.
Well, y'all, hey, that is the hustle and the grind in a nutshell.
Right.
Shoot, Kayla, you,
Speechless.
speechless.
Yeah, y'all need to book Kayla. Book Kayla.
Listen, book me, sis. Book me, bro. I
Yeah.
got you. Listen, you trying to have that birthday party look like a red carpet event? I got you.
Heller.
I got you.
Heller. Yes, yes. Well, Kayla, thank you for being a
Man,
guest.
thank you.
We
Thank you
appreciate
so
you coming
much.
through.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
It was
you for
awesome,
having me.
awesome.
It was.
And everybody, again, we're going to drop all of her info on this episode. Y'all go follow, book, like, subscribe,
Subscribe.
all the above.
All the above.
Let's go.
We out.